Hey guys, it's Deandra with Deandra's Dishes. Today, we're going to make meat sauce and meatballs at the same time. So I'm going to be showing you how I start my meat sauce, and then I'm going to get that going, and then we're going to move into making meatballs, and then we're going to throw it all into the pot, and we're going to make an amazing, delicious dinner for everybody to eat up and have a great day. I want to welcome you to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would do me a favor and like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button for me, would greatly appreciate it. That way you'll get notified every time I put out a new video. But starting off right now, we're going to work with our first thing, which is getting our meat sauce going. And just so you know, we use 5 different kinds of beef and different meats and pork. I also have fresh herbs that I've already cut up, which would be garlic and onions and parsley, flat leaf Italian parsley, and basil, as well as a couple other things that I'm going to add to it, but I'm going to give you all the details in it as we go forward. So first things first, let's get started cooking this amazing sauce so that we can move on to making the meatballs, and then we're going to cook those as well, and then I'll show you how we do all of it. Thanks again for tuning in. Let's get started. First things first, let's get on with the meat. Do is add some olive oil to the pan, and then as you can see here, I've got 5 different kinds of meats. I've got ground bison and ground brisket, which my husband and I actually did ourselves. We have our own ground beef blend. We also have ground lamb, and I also have ground Italian sausage. So we have all 5 of these meats that are going to go into this sauce. First thing I'm going to do is start cooking the meat, and then we're going to add other things like onions and everything else that's going to make it amazing. What I like to do is I like to take and get everything working and get it all like blended together and start just letting the happy flavors get happy. So that's going to be our first course that we're going to do. Then we're going to add our onions, which I've got, right now I've got about a little over an onion, like 2 onions, a little less than 2 onions over here. And as you can also see, we've got parsley that I've already ground, that I've already chopped up. I also have basil that I've chopped up, as well as some fresh garlic that's been totally minced. And of course I have more onions that are over here, but these are also going to be used for the meatballs that we're going to be making here shortly. So you're getting a 2-for-1 in this video today. But right now I'm just going to let this meat brown up nicely, and then I'm going to start throwing the onions and the garlic into it and start cooking those as well. And then I'm going to show you a couple little tricks. I use wine in my sauce. I use Worcestershire sauce in my sauce, which is a secret ingredient, which I'm going to share with you. And of course, we've got basil and some dried spices as well as fresh spices that go in it as well. So this is what we're going to do. And let me just go ahead and get this cooked down. And then once we get it browned, I'll show you where we're going to go next with adding the next piece of our process, which is going to be the onions. As you can see, we're just going to keep stirring away and cooking this till we get all the meat cooked perfectly, and then we'll add the onions and the garlic and all the other great stuff that goes with it so that we can get real happy with this. So as you can see, we're just going to keep cooking this down and make it happy. See, it's starting to brown, which is good. This takes a couple of minutes, but you just basically want to get a nice flavor on this. And it's also going to add flavoring into your pan too. But as you can see, it's starting to do its thing, which is great. But it will all meld together and it will be amazing when we get done with it, which is a great thing. Okay, so just keep stirring it, mixing it together, and let it get happy. Now the next thing that I do is I add some dry seasonings to this, And I do it while they're cooking, and I wait till the meat's almost totally brown, and then I start adding some additional flavors to it so I can layer the flavors into it while I'm cooking it. Let me show you what we're gonna do next. All right, so I'm gonna add some pepper in this, just regular black pepper. I'm gonna add a little bit of kosher salt in here, not too much, just, you know, about, maybe like, I've got 5 different versions of meat in here. Just don't go crazy. Everything with me and my cooking is I just kind of like eye everything that I'm doing, and I sort of know what works. And I like to put, even though I'm gonna put raw garlic in here, I like to put some garlic powder in here as well, just because it gives it an enhanced flavor. And then I also like to add some dry basil, even though I'm gonna put others in it as well. And I like to do this while the meat's cooking. But if you notice, I'm crushing the herbs in my hand. That just releases their oils, and it lets them like start like working with the meat as it's getting cooked. It's always one of my favorite things to do. All right, next I like to add a couple of things. First things we're gonna do is we're gonna add probably about 3/4 of this onion in here. Let's go ahead and start cooking the onion down with the meat. Get that taken care of. Save a little bit for that. So I might add it a little bit later, but I'm not quite certain if I'm going to or not. You want to just start flavoring this with your onion. Let it just cook. But you can see the meat's getting nice and browned. I'm also going to add about probably like 3 or 4 cloves of garlic in here as well. And of course I've doubled all this up because these things over here are all set up to go into my meatballs as well. Because I sort of use the same system to set it up when I make a meat sauce, but I love to have like the similar flavors that are going on. This works really well. Another thing I like to do is I like to add Worcestershire sauce to the meat. It actually like takes the meat to a whole nother level when you do this. And I'd say probably my favorite is Liam Perrin's, which is what I love to use. So I do this, and I just like to flavor the meat so that it can continue to just cook. It's amazing when you do it that way. So of course we've got the meat, onions, the garlic, and then of course I put the dry herbs in there as well. The other thing that I love to do is I love to add some crushed red pepper to it as well. So I won't add like a ton, but I'll just put a little bit in there. Sometimes when I taste it, and this is the thing, when you're cooking, you've got to taste your own food. You need to taste it. Make sure it is what you want it to be. And even after I add the crushed red tomatoes and the the tomato paste and all the other stuff that goes into the sauce, I'll taste it a bunch of times, and of course I continue to keep breaking up the meat in here. I mean, my attitude is I like to have a lot of meat sauce with my meatballs, and you can have them like on top of it or to the side. It's really good, but this way it's got good flavor and it's seasoned all the way through, which is my favorite way of doing things. But you can smell it. It smells amazing in here right now. Very happy with the smells. And next, as soon as these get translucent with these onions and garlic, the next thing we're going to do is add some Chianti, and that is like the key to this. It gives it the nice flavor, and you let it cook it down into the meat. It's amazing. So I usually do about a cup or so, and I only use really good wine. I mean, if I'm going to use like a Chianti, I want something I'm going to drink. If I wouldn't drink it, I wouldn't put it in my food. I suggest you do the same thing. If it's not something you want to have in your food, if it's just regular like store-bought stuff that they offer for like red wine, don't put that in your food. It tastes terrible. I mean, unless that's what you prefer flavor-wise, but I don't know many people that really do. I'm just going to let this cook down for a couple minutes, and it'll cook off the alcohol, but it'll leave the nice, rich flavor, which is what we're looking for. And as we just continue to keep cooking this down, because we want the wine to be able to like flavor this entire meat and just let it seep through. It's really, really good. And then of course, we're gonna go in and start adding some of the other herbs. So we're just gonna keep letting this cook down because we want the wine to like keep the flavor, but we don't want it to be overpowering. So we just need it to cook down and leave us with just the flavoring of it. That and the Worcestershire, it just tenderizes the meat. It just tastes really yummy. I love it personally. And then, now that I've got the onions and the garlic is starting to like meld with the meat, next we're gonna go in with some tomato paste. Okay, so we're gonna work with the tomato paste. I'm gonna throw some of that in here, probably about like 2 tablespoons. And you can see that there's some fat in here that's left over from the meat cooking. I'm not taking it out, it's flavor. Fat's flavor, I'm not taking it out. I'm gonna leave it in here. I'm gonna mix this tomato paste in here and let it start to meld and get happy with everybody. I'm gonna turn it down just a hair. You don't want it to be boiling over. Okay, and then also, Pompey is my favorite crushed tomatoes. They're like tomato with basil. It's amazing. It's from Italy. It's really, really, really good stuff. So if you can't find it in your local grocery store, you can always order it on Amazon. And I'll put a link in the description for you so that you can like find it, but it's really amazing. And you can see that the meat sauce is starting to come together now. Now this is where things get a little dicey with me. I always use, you know, like Bianco di Napoli tomatoes. They're really good. And you can see I've got clean hands. I've been washing them back and forth, left and right. But I do everything with my hands. And I don't use gloves. But when I put these tomatoes in, these are San Marzano tomatoes. They're so good. And I crush them with my hands so that they've got this nice, you know, beautiful taste that's in there. It's just amazing. So I just do this and I add the sauce to it. I love doing it this way. It's kind of cathartic too. It's like you get in here with your hands and you're like, what the heck, you know? You get in here with your hands and you get them all nasty and messy, but it's part of cooking. It's like you own it in your own kitchen. You know what I mean? It's just fun. And a lot of times I'll crush them in the can when I get to the bottom. As you can see, I'm doing right now with my hands. But I will literally crush them and then just take them and pour them in. And that's definitely, I want to get all the juiciness and the wonderful flavors that are in here. And I want to make sure they're all in here. And of course, then you got your hand all messy. So got to go wash your hand again. Wash our hands constantly. Anyways, now dry them back off and we're ready to keep moving. And you can see how thick and nice this sauce is. It's just coming together perfectly. Now I can look at the color of the sauce and I can tell you right now it's not exactly where I want it to be because that's when I know that I'm going to add more Worcestershire sauce to it and a couple other things. But I try to crush the tomatoes in here while I'm doing it just because it just makes it just so tasty. And I'm probably going to add a little bit more crushed tomatoes to it as well. So let's just see. I want to see how it tastes. Hang on just a second here. And I'm going to add in the basil. That's so good. All right. Now I'm putting parsley and basil in here. I'll let this get happy and simmer for a while. Here's our fresh basil that I chopped up. And the rest I'm leaving for what? Meatballs. So this is why I like doing this. You cut up all your stuff ahead of time. You don't have to worry about it later. It's actually pretty great. Now, as you can see, I added the basil and the parsley. Went ahead and added an additional can of the crushed tomatoes, and now it's starting to get that lovely color that I'm looking for, kind of like a tanner color. I'm gonna add just a little bit more of the Worcestershire sauce and just a hair of garlic. So I'm gonna add that, and I think it's probably pretty stellar right now, and I just need it to just cook down for now. A lot of people decide, do they want to put sugar in it? No sugar.
I don't know, to be honest with you. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends on where it's tasting. If I think it tastes a little too acidic, I will definitely do that. Now what I am gonna do to this is I'm gonna take a piece of the rind of Parmesan. I have Parmesan Reggiano. I'm about to go grab that out of the fridge and I'm gonna add that to this and I'm just gonna let it sit and simmer and cook down for a couple of hours and it'll just be perfect. Let's go ahead and taste it and see where we're at. I think it needs just a little bit more red pepper. Just a hair. Don't want it too spicy, but just a little bit more. And just a tad bit more salt. And it just needs a little bit more salt in it. Not a lot, just a little bit. I mean, you can always add it. You can't take it away. That's how it works. We all know that. All right, now let's just let this get happy for a minute and see what we got. Looks amazing. I think while this is cooking, then we're going to work on our meatballs. And then we're going to put it all together and make an incredible dinner. All right, so now we're on to meatballs, guys. And again, we've got 5 different meats. We've got bison, we have lamb, we have Italian sausage, we have brisket, that again, my husband made, and we have ground beef, 80-20. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add to this my onions, and I'm just going to eyeball what I have here. It's left over from before, but I know that's not nearly enough, so I'm adding more because that's what I do. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it so I can see where I'm at. And the same thing with my garlic. I'm going to do the same thing. It's already cut up. And whatever I have left over, I just take it and put it in like a little glass container and keep it so it's all nice and good. And I don't have to worry about it that way, which is perfect for me. And then when I need it, it's already cut up and it's ready to go. Again, we're going to add some basil to this. And I like fresh herbs in these meatballs. I mean, this is how I roll. And then, of course, we're going to have fresh parsley. And then I'm going to put some 4 or 5 different cheeses in here. And I'll show you how I do the cheese blend, too. I think I showed you in one of my last videos. I use my Ninja to do it. And I actually love doing that because I can mix it all up. But I'm going to put like Asiago, Parmesan, Parmesan Reggiano. There's a lot that goes into it, so let's go ahead and get onto that next. As you guys can see, I'm grating cheese. Normally I use my Ninja, but today I just decided, what the heck. I'd go ahead and take what I already had and start grating it myself. So I actually have multiple cheeses here. I've got provolone, I've got Granada American, I've got Asiago, I have Pecorino Romano, I have Parmesan Reggiano, and I'm putting straight Parmesan in it as well. And I think I said provolone too. It's just a really good mix of the cheeses that I like to do, and it just gives a really great flavor to my meatball mixture. And my friends are always like, what's in it? And then of course, you know, we've got a couple of farm fresh eggs because one of my husband's buddy helps me keep eggs in stock. I have tons of them. So I didn't freak out when everybody else was. But I like to do a lot of cheese in here, so I try to keep it pretty liberal. Thinking this is going to be about a couple of cups, easy, probably about 3. And I think we should be good with about that for right now. So let's put that over here. And I'm going to go ahead and add that into here. And I sort of eyeball it for a minute, and then I hold off on any more that I want to add to it because I might add or keep a little bit for later to top something with. Also, I'm just going to use some just Italian breadcrumbs in it, hold it together and bind it. And a little pinch of salt and pepper, just get a little bit of flavor in there. Of course, I'm also going to add some red pepper flakes to this mixture as well because I like a little bit of heat. And just a little smidge of some garlic powder in there. And a little smidge of some dried basil. Now the other thing that I like to do, which people think's crazy, is I throw a little Chianti. Not a lot, just a little bit in there. just to give it a little bit of that flavor that I've got going in that sauce. But it kind of comes out different when I do it this way. And then the final thing that I like to do is I like to put, again, Worcestershire sauce in here as well. Probably a couple tablespoons of it. And then, of course, my 2 eggs, which are definitely gonna have to go in here. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of some tomato, crushed tomatoes in here. So do that. Now I'm gonna use my hands, but I'm gonna go get some gloves on because this will get a little sloppy and messy. And I'll be right back. All right, so got my gloves on, and now I'm gonna add a little bit of the Rodolphi, just a little tad bit of the tomatoes, crushed tomatoes. It's like a puree in here. Gives it a nice flavor, but I just kind of eyeballed it a little bit and see how it looks. And then God gave you hands for a reason. Use them. And if you need to add additional things, you add it. I just do it by eyesight first and then see where I'm at and judge where I want to go. I tell people don't mix all your meat up constantly. You don't want to like brutalize it by mixing it constantly, but you definitely want to get a good mix on this. Now I can look at it right now and tell 2 things. Number 1, I definitely want more breadcrumbs in it, and I definitely want some more cheese because cheese is good golden. And I'm also probably going to add a little bit more parsley. Beautiful thing about gloves is you can stop what you're doing, take them off, and go get yourself some more stuff to add into it and keep one of them on, and then you just put this other one back on when you need it on. Now that's kind of mixed up, I don't really need to worry about it so much. Now I can take this hand, go in and add more of my cheese mixture, which I definitely want in there. And then we'll add some more of the breadcrumbs. And then of course we're gonna add some more breadcrumbs because I see I need that. And I also want to add a little bit of olive oil to it as well because I kind of like to have that flavor throughout my meatballs. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of that and just a tad bit more of this red crushed tomatoes, just to give it just a hair more mixture. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit more of the basil and some more parsley and a wee bit more garlic, just because garlic is king, why in the hell not? Just saying. And back on with this glove, and we're gonna mix it back up, and I think they're gonna be good at that point. And then we're gonna start forming them into meatballs, and then we're gonna get into cooking them. Yeah, this is looking better. Yeah, this looks more like what I was looking for, consistency-wise, coloring. Yeah, this is definitely good. And I tell people too all the time, smell your food. Like I can smell it and tell if it's right or wrong. If it's not right, I know it's not right. So I'll just take it and be like, no, that's not right. But I do want the rest of this cheese in here, so I'm just gonna go for it. Take it, put it all in here. And clean up the mess when I'm finished. You know how it is. Just give it more flavor. I do want to add just a tad bit of red pepper to it though. And just a little baby pinch more of the Worcestershire sauce. And I think we're good to go. Yeah, this is what we're looking for consistency-wise. You can see, you know, you can pull it off and you can make a meatball out of it. I mean, and I make my meatballs fat. So as you can see, that's perfect. That's what you're looking to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll these up and then we're gonna cook them. But I like to keep them all about uniform so when you put them in the pan, they'll actually cook evenly. And if I look at them and I get like, I mean, a lot of people use a scoop and others, I just use my hands. I'm like, you know, what the heck? God gave them to you. Why not, you know, use them? But This way, when we go doing this, I mean, I can look at them and tell, I need a little extra this, a little extra that. They're not exactly uniform. And I probably am gonna end up with about, I'd say probably 24 to 26 meatballs out of this. If I made them smaller, I could double the batch or triple the batch, which I've done before as well, but not always so good about. I just know what I like, you know, and when I do it, I just want to do what I want to do. And people don't seem to complain about it, so I can feel when I'm rolling them if they're too big or too small, and they are. Sometimes I'll go in there and cut them down and see what happens. So I'm gonna finish rolling all these out for you. All right, guys, and as you can see, we're down to the last two that we got to do, which is always good. And then we're gonna clean up our mess and we're gonna start frying them. So we ended up with 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 31 meatballs. So there you go. And they're big and fat and yummy, as you can see. All right, so let me go ahead and clean everything up and then we're gonna get to cooking. As you can see, I started to turn them, and like I said, they'll start letting you know when it's time to flip them. Like they start coming up the sides. You want them to be like nice and golden brown and just a nice seared edge on them. Try to flip them too early. Sometimes you end up breaking the meatballs, and nobody wants to do that. They smell amazing though, really, they do. They're really, really tasty. I love meatballs. It's my favorite thing in the world to eat. Probably why I make a lot of them. I'm gonna cook these until they're like internal temperature of like 165, about where they need to be. Again, just babysit them. These were like about, I guess about 4.5, 3 minutes, 3.5 to 4 minutes on each side. This time I'll time them. I'll tell you exactly when they get finished. And then of course we'll start on the next batch and keep it moving. And then, hey guys, now I'm gonna check the internal temperature and see right at 165, 166, so I just start pulling them out. So, and as you can see, I've made them just nice and brown on all sides. And I just like to lay them on a paper napkin, paper towel, and just let them cool down. And then I start popping them in my mouth and eating them because they're so tasty. Some of them are obviously going to go into our sauce, and some of them are just going to stay out, and we're just going to get happy and eat them. Sometimes pour a little sauce on them. I like to give them one last turn over and just check a little bit more. And a lot of times when people see that they're darker like this, they think they're burnt, but they're not burnt. They're actually extra cheese that sits on them. It actually tastes amazing. It's just my personal way that I like doing it. But they're all ready to go. And what I like to do is just let my oil sit and cook and touch back up to temp. And then I'll throw the next batch in, because as you throw stuff in, it starts to bring your temperature down. It takes a minute for it to come back. Nope. Gotta be honest with you. I just tried one of those meatballs. And it was definitely worth it. They're so tasty. They're really just tender and tasty. And right now, I'm just waiting for these sides to get finished cooking. Turn them a couple more times, and we're about to take these out. And we're about to be done. Go ahead and pull these off, and then we're going to come back with our sauce and see what we got going on with that. It looks amazing, just saying that. I'm going to reverse it and bring it back over, and we're going to check on that next. I'll be right back. All right, Let's see. Ooh, look at this. Now this is what I'm talking about. Amazing. Oh, it smells so, so good. And trust me, I've been eating on it, so it tastes really good too. But that's what I do, which is fine. It's okay. It's tasty. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, see how I told you I put the Parmesan rinds in there? That's what it is, it's melting. But it's putting flavor into the sauce, which is what you want. It's really incredible. So I'm just gonna let this sit here and get happy. I'm gonna throw some meatballs in it. Everyone's like, oh, you put meatballs with marinara. I'm like, I make meat sauce and I throw meatballs in it. I don't give a crap. I do it my way. I do both, don't get me wrong, but today I was in a mood for like making a big pot of meat sauce, and I'm just gonna make spaghetti and meat sauce, and I'll throw some meatballs in it, or just have meat sauce in a bowl with more like meatballs. Just call it my version of the carnivore diet. That's what I got going on today. Anyways, I think we're gonna go in for a taste test on this. Let's see. See where we're at. I know we're very hot, I can tell you that. Oh my God, that's really, really good. It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. No need to do anything else. Now we're just gonna let the meatballs get happy with the sauce, and there we are. Make some noodles. Depends on what my husband wants to do. I can make noodles, do all that with it, but usually he just likes to eat the sauce and some bread. And so I have some garlic knots that I made a couple weeks ago, and I'm gonna heat those up in my air fryer. And I think we're just gonna have sauce and salad and meatballs and taste it out and see what we think. Anyways, I will try to put the recipe in the description for you, but to be honest with you, I'm just a cook that does everything my own way, and I can't make the same thing twice exactly the same way. It's similar. I mean, I have a cookbook coming out, and I've tried to break it down as close to what I do, but to be honest with you, I don't always follow my own rules, and neither should you. I think it's got to do with your taste and what you like, and I might like something a little more spicy than you do. Or you might like it a lot more spicy than me, or vice versa. So if that's the case, you just cook to make yourself happy. And if it smells good and it tastes good, most of the time, and it's made with love, which it's always made with love in my kitchen, I can guarantee you your friends and family will be happy with it. So anyways, I will be back with you and we'll do the taste test. All right, guys, this is what I've done. I've grabbed myself a couple of meatballs, and I'm gonna just do what I normally do when you're not watching. Let me go in here and grab some sauce and put it on top of my meatballs. And then I'm just gonna get them happy, and then I'm gonna try it all out. So I have this, plate of sauce with my meatballs, and now I'm just gonna take my fork. I'm gonna take my spoon, but I guess I'll get a fork out. Oh, that's a spoon. What am I doing? In the wrong drawer. Oh well. Anyways, and now I'm just gonna take a bite of this with the sauce and see how amazing it is. It smells so good, but man, it is hot, 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 hot. I'm telling you, it's hot. Whew. It's hot, but wow. This is actually really, really good. Gotta taste another bite. All right, well, that's all for today. We've made meatballs, we made meat sauce, we made mozzarella cheese on my previous video, And tomorrow I'm thinking about chicken marsala. Anyways, leave me some messages in the comments. Tell me what you want me to do to make some other recipe. Give me ideas. I can cook pretty much anything, and I like doing that. So let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, all the other ones, TikTok. Anyways, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.